and girls. Grandma Joan is back to read you another story. And this is about a cow that wants to dance. Do you think a cow can dance? Let's find out. This is a book called Clorinda by Stephen Kellogg. He did the illustrations, and Robert Knurk is the author. So at the first picture, it shows Clorinda in a truck, and she's going to vote, because on this sign it says, "Vote, cast your ballot, don't delay." But right next to it is a sign called Classical Ballet with an E-T, and it's in town today. Well, Clorinda gets mixed up, and this is what's going to happen to her. She ends up at the ballet with the E-T, and instead of going to the ballot. A cow named Clorinda, whose farm was remote, would drive into town each November to vote. But one year she happened, through some odd mischance, to sit through a program of classical dance. And as she sat there, she said, "Super, marvelous, magnificent, wow! I'd like to try that myself," said the cow. She asked a young farmhand named Leonard P. Cage to build in the back of the barn a small stage. And there, behind tractors and old stacks of hay, she put on a tutu and practiced ballet. "You can't dance. Are you nuts?" said the turkey named Doris. The ducks, geese, and hens, in a sort of chorus, all said to Clorinda, No, that won't do. You're only a cow, and what they do is moo." And there's all the animals showing Clorinda how you should just moo. "Those critics," scoffed Len. "Just tell them to moo-paw. A person can't know what it is she can do. Be bold and imaginative. Shoot for the sky. If it's dance that you love, then it's dance you should try." "Yes," cried Clorinda, and then for long days she practiced her leaps and she practiced chaussettes. At last she told Lynn, "Well, the next step is clear. I'm off to New York. I must start my career." "I'll help," explained Lynn. "Here's some cash for the flight." And he looked under his mattress and got some money. "Thank you," she said, and she took off that night. Brilliant Manhattan. She felt her heart pound. She rented a walk-up and then went around with other young hopefuls who lined up each day in search of a place in the Corps de Ballet. There they were all lined up in beautiful Manhattan. They lined up and lined up and lined up each day in search of a place in the Corps de Ballet. Then the man put out a sign, "No openings, go away." Brutal Manhattan. She felt her heart throb. She looked at her checkbook, then looked for a job. Buck up, she thought, but you know that it's true. A person can't tell what a person can do. Don't be discouraged. Don't sit down and cry. Get out there, Clorinda, and give it a try. She pounded the pavement for day after day, till finally she found in a tiny cafe a job waiting tables and cleaning up spills. Her boss told her, "Smile when you're presenting their bills." Keep smiling, she thought, as she searched for the chance. She went to another man and he said, "No." To prove to the world that you really can dance, she went to another lady and she said, "No." Keep smiling, she sobbed, as you constantly hear, we simply aren't hiring cows now, my dear. Poor Lan was distressed when he read in her letter, life cannot get worse, it can only get better. Oh. And better it got. The very next day, a theatrical agent was in the cafe. Clorinda's heart leaped when the fact was disclosed that a dancer he'd hired was now indisposed. Indisposed, thought Clorinda. Why, this must be fate. She spun as she stepped up and took the man's plate. She bought him his coffee with high tippy toes and glided away just like someone who knows, pirouetting and leaping and all about dance. And the next thing she knew, she had her big chance. She's dancing for the agent. Thank you very much. I quit. Len was the first one she called up to tell. Tonight, I'm on the stage in the ballet Gazelle. She rushed off to practice. She practiced all day. Her positions, first position, second position, third position, fourth position, fifth position, and of course her Josette. But one leap she feared would be quite hard to do, for she had to be caught by a dancer named Lou. She studied her partner and then told him, somehow you may want to think twice about catching a cow. No problem, Lou told her. He said to her, please, check out my biceps and check out my knees. I'm in perfect condition and trained, furthermore, in helping my partners glide safe to the floor. Well, fine then, we'll try it, Clorinda replied. People can't tell, at least not till they've tried, what it is they can do, and that is a fact. The stagehand hissed, hurry, you'll miss the first act. Sparkling and swirling, the dancers took flight. The music, the costumes, the dazzling light, the grace and the glamour, the shouts of bravo filled her whole heart with a wonderful glow. She danced like a feather. She danced like a flame. She skipped and she whirled until the time came for each ballerina to fly through the air. The art, and float downward and come to earth where their partners awaited in perfect array to step forth and catch them and dance them away. Those ahead of Clorinda flew just like a cloud. The applause that exploded was fervent and loud. Here goes, said Clorinda, her heart in her throat. She galloped toward Lou, then sprang upward to float, to fly like a bird does, as butterflies do. But the opposite happened. She flattened poor Lou. She crashed and she smashed and she crushed and she smashed, and the whole auditorium suddenly hushed. Oof! Lou gasped weakly. He struggled to rise. Clorinda was stunned. There were tears in her eyes. She wished that the stage would just open up wide so she could be swallowed and hidden inside. Move, moaned Clorinda. She straightened a strap. Then to her surprise, she heard, somebody clap. One person started, then row after row was clapping and cheering and shouting, bravo! Why are they clapping for us, the cow said. It seems that they ought to be booing instead. Oh, no, Clorinda, Lou said, in no way. They all understand that we blew it. But hey, they're cheering, they're shouting, they're clapping their hands. They're doing all this because each understands The thing most important is making a try. You can't always triumph. You can't always fly. We gave it our best, but there's bound to be misses. Now let's take a bow and let's blow them some kisses. Which they did. Then she told him, "You're kind, but it's clear it's time that I look for a different career." Hugs were exchanged with the cast and the crew. Clorinda called home, and that night she flew back to the farm and to Leonard P. Cage. She was moved when she found that he'd enlarged her old stage. "Welcome back to our star." "You're a prince, Lynn," she whispered. "I'll dance you my thanks." Then nimbly she mounted those dusty old planks. She danced like a feather, she danced like a flame. Word spread to the neighbors, the animals came. They clapped for Clorinda, they shouted their praise. "Bravo, bravo." Then over the course of the next several days, on that stage in the barn behind old stacks of hay, the marvelous cow trained them all in ballet. And now, if you go there, and don't miss the chance, you'll see animals everywhere. Dance, dance, dance,